because my brother and I wouldn't buy a
something on the other end.
license in San Francisco on Market Street.
But I'm just gonna start
Yeah.
making a list and then just
Huh.
work off of my list.
So, when did you guys let the bar go?
We closed it down 1983.
And did it reopen? You just closed it and so no one bought it?
Oh, no, we didn't put it for sale. We didn't want anybody to
Yeah.
use our name. So,
What was the name?
Buffalo Club, yeah.
Yeah.
My dad named it in 1932, and I asked him one day, I said, how in
Late 50s, hang on one
the hell
second.
did you ever name the place Buffalo?
Kathy wants to know how long you've been going to the Columbo Club.
What's that?
Kathy wants to know how long you've been going to the Columbo Club.
Oh, since 1958.
58. And I have to say, this is the first time in about 25 years that I've actually been on a landline phone. With the cord on it. It's kind of weird. Kind of think I'm 16. So 1958?
Yeah.
Alright, 1958.
So you asked him, the Buffalo Club was named.
Yeah. So anyway, he says, I had a very good friend, and he says he was president of a Buffalo Brewing Company, which on the First and Broadway, or First and Franklin, was a brewery. They made the beer there. Yeah, it was there for years. Hams had it, and Falstaff had it, and,
Okay.
and Buffalo started Buffalo beer. So anyway, he says I featured Buffalo beer on the bottles and on the draft. So he says I thought I'd name the place Buffalo. But before that, when the country was dry, he had pool halls, and it was the national pool halls. And so when Roosevelt repealed the liquor, and you could buy a license 1932, 1933. Then he was one of the first in Alameda County that bought a liquor license. Yeah.
So then, so you closed her down, and did you own the property or were you leasing the property?
No, leased.
Yeah.
Least, I can, Jesus. Oh, that's it. I used to tell my dad, you're here for years. Buy the goddamn building for Christ's sake. Yeah.
And then lease it to yourself.
Chinese guy had the building. I forgot his name. If I tell you, you'd know. Yeah, and one of his lieutenants come by, and him and I kind of worked at it. We got to know each other good. So he come in and the building was, I think 250,000, I think was. And he come by, he says, Eddie, he says, buy the building on Broadway. Buy the building. He says, I'll get it for you for 90,000. See? So I told my brother and my dad, I said, Dad, get the building for 90,000. Christ's sake, it's half the block and half the block on the other side, or right on the corner. Yeah, had a hotel upstairs and drugstore in the corner, 1 and 2, 3, 4, four stores this way and a couple stores the other, and they had.
A lot of rent.
Yeah, they used to have a restaurant with a Chinese vaudeville, like
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and my father, yeah, he would never. My brother Vince, they would rather take the bank book and put it under the pillow at night and sleep on it. You know what I mean?
Well,
That's all.
and there's nothing wrong with that, but
Yeah.
can you imagine how it'd be paying your rent to this day?
Oh, God.
Oh shit!
Because you're telling me, I mean, there's active. It's in a good
Yeah.
location. They're all
Oh,
going
yeah.
to be leased.
Yeah.
Well, and I remember, one of the things that you and Uncle Vince differed on. My dad's idea when they were going really well. My dad's idea was buy a building, buy one a year for 5 years, and on the 6th year, sell that one that you bought 5 years
Yeah.
ago. Sell that, then buy another one. So after the 5th year, after the year, sell this one, buy a new one, sell this
Yeah.
one, buy a new. I mean, if
Yeah.
my Uncle Vince, and the hard part is the Italian thing. My Uncle Vince was the oldest brother, so. And they were partners together, so it was almost kind of like what the oldest brother said.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't go against the oldest brother. That was
Yeah.
just the way it was. But if
Yeah.
you would have,
Every year that you're going
back
to
in the
buy,
60s and 70s,
every year that you're going to buy this, you would buy it for a certain amount, and you'd have it for 6 years, and at that time it would increase so much. You'd buy another building, and you wouldn't have to put any money down.
Mm-hmm.
It
And
would
you
pay
wouldn't have
for
to
the
pay
whole
tax
thing.
capital gains because
Yeah.
you're
Yep.
always rolling it
because
over.
you're just rolling it over the whole time.
So anyway,
And especially in the Bay Area in the 60s and the 70s and the early 80s.
Yeah.
Shit.
yeah, we were on Broadway for 54 years, and Chinatown took over, so we had to move 2 blocks up. So we were up there for 10 years.
On 12th and
years.
Franklin.
Yeah, 12th
Yeah.
and Franklin.
Did
And when we closed down, my brother was president of the liquor association at the time, and we used to go to all the conventions all over the country, him and we were on the board of directors and whatever. We were well known in all over, and so when we closed down, all the bars in Oakland came, and one guy bought the stools, another guy bought all the glasses, the other guy bought the liquor, and we made more by selling to those guys than if we put it on the market. Yeah, it was all cash.
so what did the space end up being when you guys let it go? I mean, someone leased the space. So what did it become a restaurant or a bar again? Someone else name it or
No, Bart used it for machinery and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then when Bart went out, Chinese came by, and they built the motel there.
Mm-hmm.
What was it?
Yeah, I can't remember what it
You
was,
used
but
to work country
for what?
the motel.
Oh, for the yeah, Hilton. Yeah, I know what you're talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit, I
Anyway,
can't remember, yeah.
across the street they built the Oakland Hotel.
Courtyard.
Courtyard. Courtyard took the property, and then they built a couple of big buildings, the water company and all. So it's all big buildings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, you lose all that history.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
across the street they had they built a hotel and a convention center, and on the top floor the Warriors have their office, and they have their workout. And they're going to go to San Francisco, but they're going to play their games in San Francisco, but they're going to keep that Oakland workout. They got their offices.
Yeah, and all the courts and all that
court,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, basketball courts and all
Now I
the
have to
lockers
go to
and
Oakland.
stuff.
Now I have to.
Yeah.
What, to go to a Warriors game?
I want to go
Oh,
so
yeah.
bad. It's so bad on my bucket list.
Next year. Oh yeah. Oh, they're killer. I've been to.
Love to go.
I can't even tell you. I mean, I've been to 100 Warrior games, maybe
Where's
more.
that?
I
Warriors
want to
games.
go. I want to go to a Warrior games.
Oh, where?
We used to do. The cool thing was that for years, they used to put an ad in the program for the Warriors. So back then, I mean, this had to be in the 70s or whatever. If you put a big enough ad, and it wasn't a big ad. I mean, it was only like that. You got 2 season tickets for the year. So they put an ad in their program,
every year, and we'd have,
Yeah.
you know, between him and Uncle Vince, we'd have 2 season tickets, so we'd go to, I don't know, 10 or 15 games a year easily. And then I just knew friends and people
Yeah.
who worked for the Warriors that would get me tickets. And
Yeah.
I mean, A's, we used to go to, that was the cool thing with growing up in this area in that 70s where you had the A's, you know, they won
Right.
World Series 72, 73, 74. Warriors won a national championship in 75. Raiders won a Super Bowl in 76. I mean, we had season tickets for the Raiders for,
Yeah. When the Raiders first came to Oakland, you know, we never had a professional team, but when the Raiders came to Oakland, my brother and I bought 30 season tickets, and we'd take the guys at the bar and stuff. Yeah, and then before that, we used to rent a bus, and we get a bus load and go to the 49ers. Yeah, and we'd put a cooler on the bus, and we knew a guy at the delicatessen, and he used to make 50, 60 sandwiches for us, and then we had all the beer in there. So going over, the guys have a sandwich in that bus, and coming back, half of them were loaded anyway. Yeah, yeah. You know,